It's 10 trivia questions on Mr. Bean for Patreon subscriber Chris Arneson. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out the show, and thanks for letting me play catch-up on a very busy week in my summer life. I'm going to put out about 6 episodes today. So if you see the new episode, Mr. Bean drop, that you're listening to right now, be on the lookout for 5 more fun ones coming at you, all on this Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. I've had people in town. I've had tons of summer events and Father's Day, pool days, all kinds of stuff going on. Kids are in different basketball camps and art camps and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's been hectic at my house, but I'll play catch up today for you guys, my loyal listeners. Thank you so much for checking out the Trivia with Buds podcast. New episodes usually every Monday through Friday, or on these catch up days, a bunch all at once. So thanks for hitting subscribe so you never miss those new episodes, and thanks for leaving Apple Podcast reviews. We're up to 420 of those, which is great because the podcast has the word buds in it, and now we have 420. Yeah. Hopefully we get 421, and we'll get over that dumb connection. But 421, 422, 423, those reviews could be yours. Do it, and you don't even have to leave any words. You can just leave it a rating of 5 stars if you dig the show, and I would appreciate that. If you want to support the show monetarily every month, patreon.com/trivia with Buds. Been recording a lot of episodes for patrons of the show, catching up on that 2024 spreadsheet where people pick topics that they want for $5 a month, like Chris Arneson for today's episode. Thanks for picking Mr. Bean, one of my favorite things, Chris. And we're going to jump into those questions about Mr. Bean right after this warm-up game of Scattergories. You've played it at home before with your relatives at Thanksgiving and things. You're coming up with answers to these prompts that start with the letter I give you. The letter today is D as in dog, and the categories are insects, items in a kitchen, and college majors. Insects, items in a kitchen, and college majors. Listen for my 3 D answers at the end of the episode, along with a fun fact of the day. Today's fact of the day is about beaches. We're all warmed up. We're ready, and we're diving into Mr. Bean Trivia. Here we go. It's Mr. Bean Trivia, question number 1. On the very first episode of Mr. Bean, he tries to cheat on an exam in what subject? Number 1, on the very first episode of Mr. Bean, he tries to cheat on an exam in what subject? Question number 2, Mr. Bean gets a turkey stuck on his head when cooking for what holiday? Mr. Bean gets a turkey stuck on his head when cooking for what holiday? Question number 3, Mr. Bean gets dressed and brushes his teeth while driving his car when late for what kind of appointment? Number 3, Mr. Bean gets dressed and brushes his teeth while driving his car when late for what kind of appointment? Number 4, who does Mr. Bean accidentally headbutt on an episode called The Return of Mr. Bean? Who does Mr. Bean accidentally headbutt on The Return of Mr. Bean? Question number 5, where is Mr. Bean when he finds himself suddenly taking care of a baby? Where is Mr. Bean when he finds himself suddenly taking care of a baby? Number 6, what kind of vehicle crushes Bean's mini car on the episode Back to School Mr. Bean? What kind of vehicle crushes Bean's mini car on the episode Back to School Mr. Bean? Number 7, who does Mr. Bean enter into a children's pet show? Who does Mr. Bean enter into a children's pet show? Number 8, in the first Mr. Bean movie, Bean is sent to California to talk about the unveiling of what famous painting? In the first Bean movie, Bean is sent to California to talk about the unveiling of what famous painting? Question number 9, in Mr. Bean's Holiday, second movie, Bean wins a trip to what country? Bean wins a trip to what country in Mr. Bean's Holiday? Number 10, who shows up to inadvertently help Bean escape paying in a car garage? Number 10, who shows up to inadvertently help Bean escape paying in a car garage? And number 11, a tough one to close out our Bean quiz today. Mr. Bean has two friends over on New Year's Eve in 1993. What are their names? I'll give you a hint. They somewhat rhyme. Number 11, Mr. Bean has two friends over New Year's Eve 1993. What are their names? Those are all your questions on this Mr. Bean quiz, one of my favorite late night shows to watch, falling asleep when I was a kid on, I think it was PBS in the US. And I hope you have fond memories of this show and character too. We'll be right back with your answers after this. We have returned with the answers to Mr. Bean. Let's see how you did. My mom took me and my friends to see the Bean movie for our, I think it was my 8th, 9th, 10th birthday, somewhere in there. And we all saw it, had a great time, fun memory in my life. One time my mom rented a movie called Blank Check, starring a friend of mine now named Brian Bonsall, and we watched that in my living room. And then a year or two later, we went and saw the Bean movie. It was great. Number 1, on the very first episode of Mr. Bean, he tries to cheat on an exam. In what subject? That would be math. It's a math exam. Number 1, trying to cheat in a math exam. Number 2, Mr. Bean gets a turkey stuck in his head when cooking for what holiday? That is Christmas. Christmas. And they sort of stole that bit for the sitcom Friends in the U.S. and had Joey get his head stuck in the turkey. And then Monica puts the turkey on too. It's a giant turkey that looks mysteriously like the one from the Bean prop closet. And I think Friends was definitely after Bean, and they were doing it for Thanksgiving. Number 3, Mr. Bean gets dressed and brushes his teeth while driving his car, which I do not recommend. When late for what kind of appointment? That is a dental appointment. He's going to the dentist. Number 4, who does Bean accidentally headbutt on the return of Mr. Bean? That is Queen Elizabeth. Yes, the Queen Mother. Accidentally, he's practicing the whole time in this long line to shake her hand and bow, and then he does it too quickly and headbutts her, knocks her down, and then runs off, I think. Number 5, where is Mr. Bean when he finds himself suddenly taking care of a baby? That's at a fair or carnival. One of the later episodes of the only 12 or 13 episode run of this entire show. I think there's only 13 episodes. He's at a fair or carnival and somehow gets his hands on a baby that someone leaves with him or something like that. Number 6, what kind of vehicle crushes Bean's Mini on the episode Back to School, Mr. Bean? It is an army tank. Army tank just runs it over, smashes it flat. Number 7, who does Mr. Bean enter into a children's pet show? That is his teddy bear, Teddy. That's right, Teddy. Number 8, in the first Mr. Bean movie, Bean's sent to California to talk about the unveiling of what famous painting? Whistler's Mother. Whistler's Mother. And it's funny he's sent to talk there because he doesn't really talk. Number 9, in Mr. Bean's holiday, Bean wins a trip to what country? That is France. France. And I don't think I've seen this movie, maybe the beginning of it. Again, probably put it on and then fell asleep, but I'll have to go back and watch the second one, Mr. Bean's Holiday. Number 10, who shows up to inadvertently help Bean escape paying in a car garage? That is the 3-wheeled car that shows up a lot, and he kind of runs off the road. So I think when it's coming in, he finds his way out and doesn't have to pay. Number 11, Mr. Bean has two friends over for New Year's Eve in 1993. What are their names? That is Rupert and Hubert. Rupert and Hubert. And there you have it. Our Mr. Bean quiz. Hope you had a good time playing along. And Chris Arneson, I hope you had fond memories of the show while playing and listening to today's quiz. If you want to be like Chris and pick topics for the show, $5 a month, patreon.com/trivia with buds. Go sign up and be like Chris. Your category's warm-up letter was D, insects. I'm going to say a daddy long legs. Items in the kitchen, how about drawers to store all your stuff? In college majors, I'm going to go with just the general phrase of doctor. I'm going to be a doctor. That is today's quiz. Thanks for listening. Oh, fact of the day. Fact of the day, Australia has 10,685 beaches. You could visit a new beach every day for more than 29 years. And I wonder if anyone's ever taken on that challenge. That would be pretty cool. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. Thanks for liking Mr. Bean to click on this episode, and we'll see you next time for more trivia with Buds. Cheers.